All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Going Rogue podcast. I'm going to get these quick sponsor reads out of the way so that we can get to the episode. Today is going to be a recap. We haven't done one yet this season. We just started into June, so it feels like a better time, better late than never, to go through Heavy Athlete, read off some scores, see what games are kind of sticking out at us, and just check things out, see where everyone's standing, maybe go to the standings page and see where everyone's stacking up. I know that like ECC invites and things like that just went out recently. So we're going to go through, see what's what, see who's been throwing what kind of numbers, what kind of seasons everyone's having, and go from there. But first, Kilted Patriot is sponsoring this podcast this year. They are what has given you guys better audio, better visual, and just the ability for me to do some cool things, get some footage out there of games that I've been to this year. So big shout out to them. Go check them out at kiltedpatriot.com. It's a fantastic nonprofit that is really pushing to help the athletes experience. So they're not worried about the games and the festivals as a whole, but they're more geared toward us, which if you've ever listened to me ramble at all on this, is very much in line with something that I appreciate. So go check them out, kiltedpatriot.com. We also have our first pro-level sponsor of the Woodridge Highland Games, which is Anvil Strength. You can support them right now by going to the link in our bio or in the Anvil Strength bio on Instagram, buying one of these shirts. Danny was kind enough to, design what is frankly a pretty cool shirt. I'm looking at myself so that I can then look at you guys to make sure I don't, in fact, look stupid. But they're great, and all the proceeds from these shirts are going to go to support the Woodridge Farm Games. Once we sell 100 shirts, we are also going to enter everyone who does what they're supposed to do on our pinned video, which there's a couple of things. You got to comment, you got to follow, I believe. Go check out exactly what Danny's put out. But once you do that and we sell 100 shirts, we're going to do a giveaway of some additional Anvil swag, some Going Rogue swag, as well as you'll get free entry to one of the Going Rogue games in 2027, depending on how many games I host. It'll at least be one. So go check them out as well. And Woodridge Farm Highland Games still has some spots left in, I believe, men and women's and masters. So it's filling up fast. The amateur men was getting pretty high, and so was the amateur women. Blue Ridge Championship invites are still up for grabs. Those will be going out in 2 months, I believe. And then we are also running a game at the Battlefield Country Store, so you can go check that out on Heavy Athlete. The men's classes are full. We're keeping that game fairly small, capped at 34 athletes, so 17 in each group, 17 men, 17 women. I am starting an alternates list, so if you're a male or master's male who wants to get on that alternate, just shoot me an email or a DM, and I will try and keep track of it and let you guys know if someone drops on a first-come, first-served basis for the alternates. But no promises. The women's class still has a few spots left, but it is getting tight. So go check them out. They're on Heavy Athlete as well. All those games can be found at our link tree on Instagram. And without further ado, we're going to get into this episode. And you guys are going to get to watch me struggle a little bit, because we're going to try and do some screen sharing on here. So let me figure out how to do this. There we go. All right, so you guys should now be able to see everything that I'm going to do on Heavy Athlete. If I'm wrong, sue me, but I'm going to talk you guys through it as well. So I went to our January page on the calendar. Looks like we only had 4 games in January, and I did a little pre-scouting of a few months from this season so far. You're going to see a lot of Florida. So we're going to give a little love to Florida and then try not to go too crazy. But it looks like we did have a New Year's Day game up in Maryborough. Oh, Australia. So down in Australia, not up. Let's see what kind of numbers we're throwing in Australia. Looks like amateur men. I don't see placings, but we have scores, which is better than nothing. Looks like we had the best wob throw on the day of 13. A lightweight for a distance of 72 from that same guy, Lachlan Page, if I'm getting that right. A heavyweight throw of 33, a Braemar Stone of 38, so not a bad day for him. Looks like Nigel, 33 in the Braemar Stone, and then 20s and 50s in the weights, 11 in the height. No sheaf, no caber, no hammers, but hey, better than nothing. All right, let's see, amateur women. Best Braemar Stone on the day by Fitzpatrick of 29.10. Also had the best heavyweight, 31.2, and the best lightweight of 56 flat. A noon on the caber, so I don't know if the men just didn't get a caber. Oh, no, they did. Sorry, they had degree scores, none of the men turned their caber. But Fitzpatrick also with a 14-foot wob. Looks like she cleaned up that day. We had a Masters men class as well. Lance Holland Keene. Nice. That's a name I haven't seen in a minute. I initially started following the Keens back when his daughter, I believe, was one of the early women to kind of popularize the lifting of, I think it was the Denny Stones. And then kind of their whole family seemed to be into strength sports. I remember following them all for quite a while. So it's nice to see that name popping back up. Let's check out, let's see, we got 3 different Florida games. We got Ladies of the Keys, Central Florida, and Suncoast Scots. Let's check out ladies first. I believe this was an all-women's game. Yep, so the first game of the year and the only all-women's game held every year. And women, and then every branch of Masters, it looks like. So, Leah Gianbartolome tying with 10 points and then coming out on the wind, however they decided that, whether it was countbacks or caber or what. 10-point day, 25 in open stone. Skylar edged her out in that one, 27, 11 and a half. Also beat her in the heavyweight, but it looks like then Leah won lightweight by 2 inches. Lost light hammer, but 1 caber, 1 sheaf, and then they at least tied for their best in WOB. I don't know if there was a countback scenario there. But let's see, Masters women, Laura Anthony, followed by Danica Jones, and then Heather Haddock, rounding out the top 3. Best WOB throw, we had a couple of women go over 16 in that one, so that's good to see. Let's see, some heavyweight throws in the upper 30s, low 40s, good. A lot of lightweights in the 50s. A couple of light hammers reaching out to that 70-foot mark. And moving on down the list, Kristen Rumley, Bree Boggs, and Jennifer Taylor rounding out the next level of Masters women. Then our 50 to 54 group, Kimberly Linder, Nancy Fortner, Cindy Capel. And then we did have 160 to 64 woman and 2 55 to 59s, Becky and Veronica. So a really good showing. I think it's cool that there's a women's only game, especially in somewhere nice and warm where people can actually want to go. So good on them. And then let's check out Central Florida. So that was January 17th. So big pro class at Central Florida. Looks like 12 athletes. Oh, this is the one where I'm pretty sure Vlad showed up late. Yeah, so he no-scored the first 4 events. Still managed to tie for 7th with Dilly. I was going to talk crap about Dilly. That was my knee-jerk reaction, but I'm pretty certain I wouldn't tie with Vlad if he still scratched the first 4. So good for you, Dilly. But looks like Colin Dunbar up there, first place, 26.5 points. Followed by Scott Farr coming in second, 33.5, and Big Graham Hawthorne, who was on the podcast earlier this year. Go check that episode if you haven't. Graham dropped a 140 light hammer at that game, and if you watched his episode, you know that he ends up going higher than that already this year. Let's see what our best numbers on the day are. Looks like Graham had a 33-foot sheaf. Looks like he got the best in that one and the best light hammer. Best heavy hammer, looks like it went to... Vlad lost it by 1 inch to Colin Dunbar. Lightweight for distance, Colin going 77.9. Heavyweight, looks like Scott Farr went 44.10. He won that one. Best open stone, let's see, Colin with a 53.10. Looks like he was the best on the day. Braemar, Graham Hawthorne again, 42'7". So looks like a pretty close race. There's only, what's that, 4, 5, 7 points between first and second, but then only 3 points between second and third. So that's a pretty tight top 3. Nathan Burchett was hanging out there in 4th, followed by, let's see, Cameron, then Jason Richards, Dilly, and Vlad, then Anthony Carville, Chase Esmial. I'm probably messing up your name there, Chase. Sorry. Rick Simmons and Nathan Leitner. So, a solid group of dudes. Only one light hammer throw that wasn't in the triple digits, at the end of the day. So that's a solid pro class. A lot of pro women too. Looks like another 12 or 13 athletes here. So I'm guessing they did the open style, if I'm remembering right, where AMs and pros could register for the same class. Let me see. Well, there was an AM women's class versus a pro women's. These got put in kind of interesting because Danielle Sansushi. Danielle, how do you say your last name? We've had this talk. I'm forgetting it. Got put in with the pros. But we do have an AM women's as well. I don't know. Whatever. They put in their scores how they put in their scores. But it looks like Christine Rothwell, first place, 26.5 points, followed close by Taylor Doxey, 28. Then Kendra Danzer running out your top third with 36.5. So real tight race between first and second, and then Kendra not far behind. I mean, being less than 10 points away in a 9-event game is close. And she actually tied with Sarah Sparks. So sorry, we had a two-way tie for third there. Looks like, let's see, best Braemar stone out of the pro women that day was 32.9. Best open stone 39.2.5. Both those by Rothwell. Heavyweight also Rothwell 44. Lightweight also Rothwell over 75. But then looks like heavy hammers where she ate a couple of points because Sarah appears to have won that one with a throw of 74.8. And then Sarah again in the light hammer with an 82.5. So looks like that's what really started shuffling points around there, probably between that second and third position. Best sheaf of the day, 30 feet by Taylor. And she also took the wob that day with 17 feet. But we've got some other 16s, 14s, a lot of 14s in the mix. So that's good to see. Rachel Cornish in there at 9th. Hi, Rachel. I say that because I know she'll watch, and then I'll get a little DM with some sort of goofy face. Our AM women's class, Victoria Bonilla, Avery Wacker. Great name. Wacker. And Maddie Greaser rounding out the top three there for them. Followed real closely by Tanisha Lee, 31.5 points, whereas Maddie had 31. So real close race there. And then big novice class as well. Let's see. 21 athletes. Good on them. I love to see it. I mean, there's a lot of zeros across the board, but like, look, man, that's what the novice class is for. Show up and do something. See if you like it. Check it out. And I mean, 21 people, tried their first or close to first Highland Games that day. So big Masters class. Eddie Brown first, Brian Burnett second, Ethan in third. Looks like Eddie Brown more or less ran away with the day, 9.5 points, followed by Brian Burnett at 20.5. So I'm assuming they both had a wob of 18 and a sheaf of 28. So somewhere along that line they split points. Otherwise, Eddie looks like he won didn't win heavyweight by a couple of inches, but everything else right up there. So, yeah, big Masters classes. A lot of familiar names in here. Kevin Miller was throwing. Carrie Overfelt came in third. It was Tyson, then Kevin, then Carrie. We had 12 guys in the 50-59 class, and, another 12 guys in the 60-plus class. I guess this is what happens when you throw in Florida, where everyone retires to. We can get lots of Masters down there. Okay, then we had an amateur men's A. So I guess we did have, I'm guessing, an open style game, and then just an amateur A if you wanted to register for that, however they ran it. But let's see. Michael Jasperson, 13.5 points on the day. Charles Fay at 16, and then Nick Martin at 34. So it looks like it's probably pretty close between Michael and Charles most of the day. Yeah, Michael with a 44.7 open stone, a 72 lightweight, 14-foot wob, but only a 24-foot sheaf. Meanwhile, Charles had his kind of typical struggle in stones. I'm not trying to throw shade on there. I think Charles is aware of that. But decent lightweight, 91-foot heavy hammer from Charles on a 32-foot sheaf. So, staying rounded. Big B class, too. 15 in the B class. That's a lot of athletes at Central Florida. I like that. I love that they've got 3 games right off the rip in the first month of the season. I like that they've got big amateur and novice classes and a big pro class. Like, you're doing something right if you can field that many athletes throughout the day. So, all right, moving on to February more. We had Tallahassee, ranking Germany, qualifying Masters, Mount Dora, also in Florida. Why is there anything named Mount anything in Florida? Do you guys have any elevation over like 20 feet? Middle Tennessee, then Scottish Masters, Scots Irish Games, Northeast Florida. Let's check out Middle Tennessee. Who's the wants to throw in Middle Tennessee in February? Backyard event, okay. That explains it. All right, so big amateur main class, though, for this backyarder. We got 9 athletes in. 1, 2, 3 of them turned to caber. So I'm going to take a stab here and say that we had a lot of newer athletes, probably, because I'm seeing a best wob of 11 on the day. A lot of 10s. Yeah, heavy hammer best on the day was Andrew Elliott at 70-foot 11. And also his light hammer at 86.8. So, all right. Yeah, best heavyweight on the day, 26 feet. Best open stone, 41.4.5 from Tanner. Not bad, not bad. All right. Braemar Stone over 30 for Tanner. Tanner, I'm going to take a stab here and say that you may have thrown some sort of shot at some point in your life, and then you're figuring the rest of this out with zeros in the latter half of your day, but a 41 open stone. Tell me if I'm wrong. Jasmine Porter winning the day, 8 points in the amateur women, followed by Kathy Hamilton and Laura Bichelle. Looks like best wobble of the day was Jasmine at 15, a light hammer of 85, heavy hammer of 72, lightweight of 71. So, yeah, all this is tracking. The math is mathin'. Go back another one here. Let's check out one. You guys want to check out a Glasgow game? Does this have scores in? All right. Looks like we just had Masters scores. I think a lot of those guys are just trying to make sure their scores get in to qualify for Masters Worlds. So, but it looks like we've got Brian Doherty, Neil Elliott, Ian Smith, Alan Butler, Elizabeth Elliott, Rebecca Mayo? I don't know. Hopefully you're not listening, Rebecca. Just kidding. I'd love it if you listen, but I'm going to mess up your last name. And Lorna Brown. So, we got a best wob throw of the day of, looks like 17 to eat from Alan in the 60 to 64 class. A handful of 16s across the group. A few Braemars out there over 30. Some lightweights in the mid to upper 50s. All right. Not bad, not bad. It's still early in that season as of February. I feel like I've picked on Florida a lot. Let's do only like one more Florida game. What do you guys think? You know what? No, we can do South Carolina, the Scots-Irish game. What is this? No description. That's helpful. And no scores. Loving this. Sweet. Well, we had 3 men. Let's see. Kayshawn, Charlie Pettigrew, and Gavin Atkins. I'm going to assume Kayshawn won. He likes to do that sometimes, especially if there's only 3 y'all. Kevin Miller and Guy in the Masters men. Okay. I don't know. All I can do is speculate on that one. So maybe we will look at Northeast Florida. Let's see what's in here. Amateur women. Kylie Frazier winning it, followed by Skylar, and then Victoria. 10 points, 25 points, 34.5 points. So it looks like, I'd assume pretty evenly spread out, but also competitive between your top 3 there if I was going to bet. Let's scroll over and see if I'm wrong. No, so it looks like, Kylie staying ahead of the pack on most events, but not by a mile. Winning Braemar by 2 feet, Open Stone by 2 feet. Started to pull ahead on heavy and lightweight. One lightweight by 6 feet, heavyweight by 6 feet. All right, we're trending that way. One wob by a foot, one sheaf by 2 feet. Okay. I see you, Kylie. Looks like the only place she, quote-unquote, lost points would have been on, I'm assuming Caber, because we got a couple of midnights in here. But it looks like she didn't tie anyone on any other events. But it could have been Avery Wanker with her 22-foot sheaf. So, spoke a little too soon there. But give or take. Had some amateur amen. Jason Richards, Anthony Carville, Charles Fay, and Christopher Haley. 13 points, 19, 23, then 35. So, Jason's a great athlete. I ended up throwing against him at Central Carolina, which if you guys have checked the YouTube, you can go watch that entire game. Or at least most of the events in kind of an unedited fashion across the board. So, let's see. Best wob of the day of 15 from Anthony, which tied Charles's 15. Charles is almost always good for 15. Anthony, I think, sometimes will go a little higher than that. Let's see. Jason Richards went over 70 in the lightweight, over 36 in the heavyweight. So, best open stone was only 40 foot 4.5. So, I think that might have been where this game was. Maybe the stones were a little funky because I'm not getting blown out of the water by some of these guys' numbers. I know they're capable of a little more. Good weights numbers. Decent hammer numbers. We got a 90 plus heavy, a 114 plus light, so nothing to shrug at. 4 AMB athletes, 6 lightweight amateur men. Let's see, Pat Brown taking first, followed by Ethan, then Travis. 14 points, 15 points, and 26.5. So probably pretty close all day between Patrick and Ethan. And Travis, 9-event game, 26 points, probably hanging on to that 3rd place more or less most of the day, it looks like. Maybe squeaking out an extra point here or there. And again, another plus to Florida here. We got a big novice class, 10 novice athletes. Some good-sized masters. We got some adaptive classes. That's good. Sam, Cody, and Josh in the adaptive men's classes. Let's see. All right. That's also one. I'm going to try, Matt Hall, if you ever listen to this, buddy, I'm going to try and get you on here. We're gonna get you chatting with us. So everyone go harass Matt, because I think that would be really fun. I used to see Matt pretty often because he was in that Southern Virginia area where I go throw at a lot of Chad's games. And we always had a good time. Let's see. God bless it, Florida. You were just running the gambit in these early years, or early months. Let's look at Irish Fest Camden. South Carolina. Kayshawn Mitchell coming away with the win. 9.5 points. Called it. Only a 12-foot wob. What are you doing, buddy? You can do better than that. 84-foot heavy hammer, not bad. 64 light. Kayshawn's weights have been really consistently good this year. I've been impressed. They used to be one of those areas where I kind of thought I could squeak a point or two ahead of him. And my lack of practice has been showing, and his frequent practice has been showing. And the result is he edges me out in those. So, no shocker there. Let's see. Rachel Cashett taking first in the AM women, followed by Katie Cooper, then Kaylee Kreft. Let's see. Masters women, Adrienne Wilson. No way. That's crazy. The GOAT winning games. Who'd have thunk it? 7 points across a 7-event game. Checks out. Followed by Christina, then Katie Kreft. Masters men, Eric Frazier winning. Again, huge shock. This is my surprised face. Let's see. A 37-foot chief. Sounds about right. A 22-foot wob. God darn. Man, that's gotta be kind of cool. Be able to do that. Followed by Paul Evans and Zach Taylor. Then Masters 50 plus. Kevin Miller, John Henderson, and Robert Breyer rounded out your top third there. And Irish Fest Camden. So, yeah, AM men best chief throw of the day being 26. Adrienne Wilson with the 26 in the Masters women. But yeah, Eric's with the 37 kind of makes all that feel a little less cool. Let's see. We had Angels Camp California. There we go. We haven't been to the West Coast yet in this review. Let's check out what those guys are doing. Angels Camp Calaveras for the Calaveras Celtic Festival. Derek Slaughter taking first, 13 points on the day. Looks like, I'm trying to look for throws that would jump out at me. 69, 89 in the hammers, not bad. Lowish weights, lowish stones. I mean, we got a class of 4. We're doing what we can. Lightweight amateur men. Looks like Eric taking first, followed by Keith and Michael. I'm assuming you pronounce that Michael. It's just spelled not traditionally. Amateur women, Lindsay New, followed by Molly Allen. We had one lightweight woman. And a pretty decent showing of Masters, it looks like. A lot of Masters across this one. Yeah, good showing of Masters women and Masters men. A lot of Elliots. God, Michael Elliott, Stephen Elliott, Joseph Elliott. Come on now. All right, let's see. Anything jumping out at me as being like, holy crap, who is this? Let's see. Nothing's blowing my socks off here, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing's blowing off my Kilted Patriot fanny pack, which if you've been watching on video, you've seen on the table. Right in front of my Green Hill Highland Games 2019 tumbler. You can get these. It's like a reward. All right. North Alabama. Let's see what's going on in Alabama. Backyard Rebellion game. All right. So let's see. Pro women's class. Which, again, I'm pretty sure Danny was running the open format on this. So if you wanted to register for the open and throw at a chance for money. Yeah, because then we also have an amateur women. But I know some of these women pretty much only throw amateur in the pro class. So let's see. Hannah Lindsay winning. Again, this is my shock face. 26-foot sheaf, 17-foot wob, 84-98 in the hammers, 82-foot lightweight. There you go, Hannah. I haven't seen Hannah post that much throwing content lately, which could just be my algorithm messing with me, or it could just be that she's posting other stuff. But she's clearly putting in the work. 'Cause, I mean, 44 heavy, 82 light, 42 open stone to 36 Braemar. Oh, yeah. Jasmine Porter coming in second, though. Nipping right at her heels most of the day. An 81-foot lightweight, 87-foot light hammer, a 15-foot wob. Jasmine, it looks like 28-foot in the sheaf, followed by Maddie Weinrich, who also went 28 in the sheaf. Oh, and so did Kendra Danzer. Kendra just finished a little lower. I almost missed her there. But yeah, so Hannah first, Jasmine second, Maddie third, Alicia Donner fourth, Adrienne Wilson fifth, Kendra, Katie Vaudrain, Kylie Frazier, and Sarah Reed. For your 9 women in that class. Then we had amateur women. Anything jumping out at me? 14-foot wob from Jenna Slayer. Not bad. 55 lightweight. Solid. Masters women. Okay. Another 14-foot wob. Carrie Beaton, who ended up winning that class. Amateur A, Rhett Rutherford. God bless it. Let's see what did he pull off. 36.5 Bray Marstone, decent, but he actually got beat by Michael Jasperson. All right. But then 43 in the open stone, 42 in the open stone by those two. Rhett, what are you doing? You only threw a 30-foot heavyweight. Did you stand throw that? Michael took a 36 heavyweight. And a 74 lightweight. Rhett pulled off a 62-foot lightweight. But then Heavy Hammer came around and Rhett used that 82-foot wingspan he's got to throw a 104 heavy and a 123 light. So he ended up winning both hammers, it looks like there, pretty handily. By, at least 15 feet in the Heavy Hammer. And then another 10 to 12 feet in the Light Hammer over everyone else. 16-foot wob, 32-foot sheaf. We also had John Weinrich with a 30-foot sheaf. And Michael was there with a 28. We had an AMB class. Xavier Johnson ended up winning that with, 69 Heavy Hammer, 91 Light Hammer. 25-55 in the weights and 32-39 the open stone. I'd say you can kind of move up there, brother, in the to the A's if you were looking for my opinion, which maybe you aren't. I need to remember to look at this camera more often. I got this nice camera and tried to set up this very aesthetically pleasing shot, and you guys are just going to watch me stare at my laptop the whole time, if you're even watching. I wouldn't blame you. All right, let's see. Big Masters class. Chris Carr took second. Beat out by Matthew Patterson. Let's see, what do those numbers look like? Patterson, 80-foot and 101 in the hammers, 28-foot sheaf. Chris also with a 28-foot sheaf, a 19-foot wob from Matt. Had a novice class with some decent numbers. That's good. All right. Not looking too bad. Davis Campbell ended up winning the novice class there. And a big showing of 60+. All right. David Bryant taking first, followed by Joe and then Danny. All right. Good stuff. Backyard Rebellion always coming through. Let's see. We got the Highland Games in Hill Country, Texas, or Fredericksburg, Texas, sorry. Christian McClellan, the only pro man. Hey, Christian, do you run this game? Did you? 33 Braemar, 39 open, 33-68 in the weights, 15-foot wob, 30-foot sheaf. All right. 111-10 light hammer. What are the odds that you'd end up 1-1-1-1-0 in the hammer? That's pretty fun. But looks like Stacy Marble took first, followed by Sarah Cullen, who's back from, I don't know, do we call it maternity leave in the Highland Games if none of us are getting paid? I'll call it that. Sarah's coming back from maternity leave. And then Allison Jacobs in third to round out your podium for the AM women. Looks like probably a Stacy Marble 9 points on the day, but then Sarah at 17. So following right there, nipping at her heels all day. Let's see, an 80-foot light hammer from Stacy and a 64 heavy, 69 lightweight and a 35 heavyweight. All right, checks out. Big Masters women class, 10 athletes. A lightweight amateur man, Ryan Adams. Lightweight amateur women, we had 5. Alyssa Van Vleck, followed by Faith Daniel, then Emma Elrod. 20-foot wob from Alyssa. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. That's what I want to give these shout-outs to on these. I'm hoping we get, later in the season, we get a lot more numbers coming in. I can start saying, holy shit, a 20-foot wob, you know? I want to say that more often. All right. I got to not have these quiet moments. You guys are listening, and I'm just not saying anything. Amateur men, Tim Barton taking first, Francis Cullen in second, Austin Jones in third. 20 points, 23 points, 24.5 points. That's a close day all around between your top three. Let's see. So Braemar Stone went to Tim, open stone to Francis, heavyweight to Tim, lightweight to Austin, heavy hammer to Francis, light hammer to Austin, caber looks like to Tim, sheaf to Tim/Francis, and then wob to Tim, followed by Francis. So yeah, close day overall. I bet that was a fun one to watch. Those small games of like 5 guys when the top 3 are really tight. We had a very similar field. If you guys haven't watched the game that John Harding put on early this season, it's on his YouTube. For a while I was sharing it to our story a good bit, but go check out John Harding's YouTube. He's got the Sedalia Highland Games. He actually had a really cool, easy to digest breakdown of the game. It'll take you like 15 minutes to watch or something, but it's really easy to follow while all of us were throwing in the A class. It was a pretty cool day. It was a really cool narrative they were able to paint. So let's see, big masters class. We had an AMC's class, lightweight masters, masters women. All right, pretty good showing there. Out of everything other than the pro class, Christian. All right, let's see. A lot of stuff. Germany. Does this one actually have a full set of scores in? Alan Butler won because he's placed first, and then nothing else for the other bazillion athletes in here other than Nat Croft. What would be 68 foot, 11.559 inches? I'd be willing to bet we're doing metric conversions there because I have mine set to US, and they're probably putting theirs in centimeters or meters or fathoms, whatever you guys use overseas. Here we go, Sedalia. We can all watch me lose to Spencer. Spoiler alert. Still go watch the video on John's YouTube. All right, so AM women. Alexis taken first, followed by Ashley Hartford, then Claire rounding out your top three. Best wob throw of the day, 13 in the women, 24 in the sheaf. Best lightweight, 49. We're going to stop reading back through those. Do better if you want me to say more things out loud. Masters men, Randy Sylvester taken first, followed by Gordon, then Joe. Again, best wob of a 13, but Randy pulled out a 30-foot sheaf, as he does from time to time, and a 36-foot heavyweight, so not mad at any of it. I'm still going to give you crap about your stones, Randy. What are you doing? Heather Haddock winning the Masters women, followed by Erica, then Libby. 14-foot wob from Heather. Here we go, Amateur A. I'll know I have a couple of things to talk about here because Spencer had a great day. So Spencer, 11 points, me at 18 or 18 and a half, and then Jesse East at 23 or 22 and a half. We got some options right there depending on how they wanted to score. I'm assuming Caber because we had quite a few of us no turn it. But yeah, so Braemar Stone, I won that. I came in second in Open Stone, but we both got beat. Me and Spencer got beat by Jesse East in that one. That kind of shook our points up a little bit because we had 4 guys over 37 in the Open Stone. That was our best day. I think it was all of our first games for the year. But it mainly stayed tight between me and Spencer for most of the day, and then Jesse and Chase Wagner were changing places for third and fourth. It made it for a really cool day. But Spencer with his 15 wob and his 30 sheaf. I broke a caber that day. You can see that in the YouTube, should you feel so inclined. But great day all around. No hammers. It's a small field. And then we did have a B class there. Looks like Tyler ended up winning that with some pretty respectable numbers. 12-foot wob, 24-foot sheaf. You know, over 40 in the lightweight and 24 in the heavy. So, one more time there. He'll have her. Let's pick out one more. What's going on in the UK? Dumbarton Masters Highland Games. Brian Doherty, Ian Smith, Alan Butler. These numbers are going to jump out at me as crazy. We got 2 people over 16, 3 people, 4 over 16 in the wob for that one. We got, let's see, a 91 light hammer out of Brian. He also went over 30 in the heavyweight, 50 in the light. So Elizabeth Elliott, 39.55 in the weights. Okay, all right. Good deal. Let's go one more month so we can round out this little recap episode so that you guys can kind of know what's going on, who's moving where. Let's go to April. And then we'll call that what? The first quarter of the year, January, February, March, April. 4 months out of 12. So, give or take something. Math's not my strong suit, guys. We had the Redstone Highland Games in Utah. Let's check those guys out. Come through in beautiful St. George, Utah. That's all it says. That was helpful, guys. Preach. I tried. Piping on the Green. Let's try that one. Out in Tennessee. I'm glad we got these good mics so you guys can hear me slurp water out of a metal tumbler. 13-foot wob from Ashley Moultrie, who won your AM Women's. She was followed by Laurel, then Caitlin Cole. Any of these other scores jumping out at me outside of a decent wob? Nothing too crazy. Amateur A, Caleb Day, followed by John Sheridan and Andrew Elliott. Let's see. Again, we got a 74.92 in the hammers by Caleb. That's not bad. And a 28-foot sheaf, 14-foot wob. That's a solid day. Nothing to sniff at. I'd say your stones are probably what I'd, vote you bring up a little. But we're clearly working with some level of strength to be pulling out 14-foot wobs. So, could be worse. Big showing of Bs. We got 6 athletes in the B class over here. So, go off, Kings. And then big Masters 50 plus class. 12 athletes in that. Another 6 in the 40 to 49s. So, once again, let's see, Chris Carr coming in second. Alan, I'm not saying your last name on air, Alan. That's going to get turned into a sound bite. But he took first, 14.5 points on the day. Chris Carr at 20, followed by Jeff Rogers at 36. Anything jumping out at me? 37-foot sheaf from Alan. There we go. Again, this is the kind of stuff I want to talk about. This gets me excited. Gets the people going. 17-foot wob from David Anderson in the men's 50 plus. All right. He ended up winning that class. Followed closely by Chris. There was only 1 point between two of them at the end of the day. All right. I see y'all putting in work. All right, let's back up a little bit. Oh, there's another redstone. Does this one actually have scores? It does. All right, so Redstone Games out in Utah. We got lightweight amateur men, big class, 9 athletes. Any big throws here jumping out at me? We had a 88-foot light hammer from Laney, who took first. It's like one of the bigger throws I'm seeing here. Yeah, not getting blown out of the water just yet. Let's get into our amateur A's. Brandon followed by Jake and then James. It's your first, second, third. Pretty close day there between second, third, and fourth. 30 to 39.5 points between those 4 places. So pretty good. We had a 31-61 day in the weights from Brandon Johnston, who was your winner. 80 and 103 in the hammers. All right, cool. Solid numbers. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh my God, amateur B's. Christian, brother, I don't even know, but he won. 24.5 points on the day. 14.5-foot wob as a B. Yeah, congrats. You're an A now. You got to work on your weights, though. How are you throwing a 14.5-foot wob and a 1639 in the weights? And a 109 light hammer? I'm so confused right now. Your lightweight score should be your open stone score. Like, what do you do? Like, it's just the weights. I mean, we got 83, 109 in the hammers, a 25 sheaf, 14.5 wob, 29.36 in the stones, which, I mean, the stones aren't stellar, but they're far from bad. Those weights, I'm assuming maybe you just hadn't practiced weights before? If I'm wrong, that is the biggest jerk thing I've ever said. But AMCs, yep, a big class, 12 guys, good for y'all. All right, AM women, Amarissa Handy winning. Again, my shocked face. Oh, but let's see, we had some solid throws in here. Felicia following her up in second. Let's see, and then is it Maya Garin in third? Real close. So 11 points to Amarissa. God damn it, Amarissa, and then 20 to Felicia, 24.5 to Maya. So let's see. Best Braemar of the day was Amarissa, 36.11. She had the best open stone of 48, but Maya looks like 46.2, so right there nipping at her heels. Heavyweight, Felicia pulling them out. 42.76 in the weights from Felicia Baker. And then hammer, looks like heavy hammer went to Amarissa, and so did light hammer, 81.103. The 35-foot sheaf. But Maya was over 30. Maya had a 17-foot wob, Felicia with a 16, Amarissa with an 18. So that's a solid day to be following. I don't envy everyone that had to come in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Excuse me. Big Masters class, 13 athletes. We did have, looks like John O'Neill and Mike Baltrin both went 33 and 34 in the sheaf. And we had the top 3 athletes, which was John, Mike, and Sean Smith, all went triple digits in the light hammer. So, all right. Solid day from the Masters men. Good. Decent. We had 4 50 to 59 athletes in a big novice class, 14 athletes. I'm really enjoying how many of y'all I'm seeing that are having the space and the people to host novice classes to try and get these people checking out. Looks like Travis Edgar I don't think you get to be a novice anymore, bud. 28-37 in the stones, 28-40 in the weights. So I mean that's it. I'm a big. Me and lightweight fought for years. I get it. 61-80 in the hammers, 23 sheaf, 15 wob. Yeah, congrats. You're no longer an am or a novice. Get out of there. We had a lightweight amateurs class, a women's B class, women's 60-69. We had an other class for some people. I don't know. Women's C, more masters classes, and a women's novice class with 4 athletes in it. So yeah. All right. Putting up solid numbers out west. All right, let's go. What do you guys think? We've been doing this for 40 minutes. We're going to do one more, and we're going to call it a day. Let's pick something cool. Kansas, Illinois. Oh, we could do Central Carolina. It's my podcast. Let's talk about another game I was at. You guys can get sick of me. That's fine. So they did the open structure. I know that because that's what I signed up for. Looks like Zach Cashett won the AM men's with 33-40 in the stones, 24-51 in the weights. All right, not blowing my socks off here, Zach, but him, Greg, and Dustin, your top 3 over there. 4th place, you know who you are. You want to get mentioned, get on the podium. And women, Maddie taking first. All right, let's see. What do we got? Anything really cool? No, solid numbers, but right up there. So Maddie, then Jen, and Rachel, and your top 3 there. Masters men, Randy, then Johan, followed by Russell. So Randy with a 16-foot wob and a 31-foot sheaf, 98-foot light hammer, 81 heavy. Solid day from Randy on those events. 37 heavyweight. All right. What is happening on a day where Randy wins stones? What are you doing, Johan? Let's see. Masters women, 2 athletes. Adaptive standing. So we did have a big adaptive group there. That's pretty cool. Pro-Am women, Kendra, followed by Heather Haddock, then Sarah Navarro. Sarah came up from Texas, I want to say, but looks like Kendra with a 16-foot wob and a 26 sheaf. All right. 67-82 in the hammers, 35-62 in the weights. Kendra had a 9-point day, so I'm not going to bore y'all with all of them, but she ran away with all of them. And Pro-Am men, guess who came in last? This guy in a group of 5. But let's see. So Graham Hawthorne, 14 points. He was your winner. Graham had a pretty good day, 16-foot wob, 30-foot sheaf, 108, 135 in the hammers, 37-77 in the weights, 50-foot open stone. So, if you're into that kind of thing. But, yeah, it was Graham, Wes, and Jason up there in your top 3. All those guys had good days. I didn't have a terrible day by my standards. My heavyweight could have been a little better. I only hit 28.5. That was kind of a bummer. But, got up over 90 in the light, into the mid-70s on heavy hammer. Had the height for 14 on wob several times. My arc was off. We've been working on that. But I'm going to call that it, guys, on the first recap of what we'll call the first quarter of 2026. And we're going to get back to you guys soon. We're going to have a couple more guests I've got lined up to hopefully get on the podcast before this month is out, so you guys can get back to having some regular stuff. So your friendly reminder is both of our games are, 1, listed on our website. 2, they're on heavyathlete.com for their actual registration. We also have stone lifting at Woodridge. So if you got some friends who are into strongman stuff and maybe not into throwing quite as much, Nancy Johnson, multiple time, I'm pretty sure world's strongest woman, bunch of records and wins, and just all around dope person, is going to be running the stone lifting up there this year. So you can come check that out. That'll be on Saturday. And then the games are both days. Blue Ridge Championship invites will go out at the end of August, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be posting another leaderboard for that soon, so you can keep your eyes peeled there. But top 2 men and top 2 women from every state where I am considering the Blue Ridge to run through, along with the wildcard invites, which is first and second place from last year's AM class, will be there. Keep your eyes peeled for our pro class. We're going to start making some of those announcements soon, hopefully. If you want to sponsor this game and sponsor either just the game in general or any of those pro athletes, we've got a page on our website that explains all that stuff, or you can just reach out to me, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, and we'll get you squared away. But we will see you guys on the next one, and hopefully see you at the game in July and then the game in September. Later.